All right, welcome to this special edition of Degenerate Sports Talk. I'm your host, Paul Robinson. As always, I'm joined by my three cohorts, Jason, Ken, everybody's favorite redneck Gaskins, who's is basically spending time with the Martian at the moment, bless his heart. And this particular special, we're joined by TNT Dynamite's fantasy football podcast host, Big Shon McCullough. This particular special is brought in part because due to time restraints on our last show, we didn't get round to Jason filling us in on the NBA trade deadline from Thursday night. And we decided, because we're nice and because we're all a little bit degenerate and nuts, we'd give Jason the floor for 20 minutes and say, tell us what's been going on in the world of NBA and what happened at the deadline. Jace, take it away, buddy.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with the big trade, which is James Harden and Paul Millsap gets traded for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, which I know Paul has in fantasy basketball, and 2 first-round picks. One of them being Phillies this year.
That's an unprotected first-round pick, is it not? I believe.
Yeah, but they're already in the playoffs, basically. So even if they lost out, it won't be a lot.
It wouldn't be that much of a thing, but yeah. I've noticed this week with the NBA trade, especially with this Harden trade, that it seems to be most of the players on my fantasy basketball league this week have been traded. Harden's been traded. Chris LeVert got traded beginning of the week as well as Andre Drummond and a few others. And it's just like, seriously, half my team's been either out injured or it's been either traded and been benched for a day or two, which has really hurt me in fantasy. I mean, don't get me wrong, this year I haven't exactly been doing great anyway, but it does seem that a lot of the guys that I own on my fantasy league that are above the age of 27, 28 in that kind of like almost, I think like prime-ish going into their irrelevant years have been traded this year. Although with Harden, he's one of the biggest stars in the game from what I understand it. And, and from what I understand it as well, Ben Simmons can't shoot and couldn't get out of Philly fast enough. I mean, bearing in mind, I listen to a lot of Detroit sports radio anyway. So there's been, pundits in, like Mike Valenti that have said, they'd love to see guys go from the Pistons and bring Ben Simmons in to help Cade Cunningham. Now, for a long time, I was kind of like, not a bad idea, but he can't shoot. But the Phillies have finally pulled the trigger. He's gone. They brought Harden in. I mean, doesn't make much sense on paper. I mean, Ken was saying earlier on while we were doing a post show for the main show that it was just like, it was a butt ton of stuff to give away. And it's like, what's going on? Jace, explain it to us in layman terms.
To me, I want to go a couple things. One, James Harden has not been playing that well recently for the Nets. They are also dealing with Durant's injury. Irving, with his vaccination status, can't play home games. So for them, they were like, okay, Harden was disgruntled. He wanted out, similar to Houston. So he jumped ship. Simmons, Philly tore into him after last year's playoff loss. Doc Rivers, the coach, tore into him, didn't support him, and everybody...
No, the fans turned on him, yeah.
Oh, because he couldn't shoot a free throw or a three-pointer for the life of him, okay? So
is that a psychological thing for Simmons, or is that just a case of he's got the yips, or what the hell? What's going on with him with that? I mean,
he has not been a three-point shooter at all any period of time. He should have worked on his free throw shooting sometime, but they've babied and coddled him. So they've basically been, you're the star, we're going to baby you, and we're not going to make you learn how to shoot a free throw.
Okay, fair enough.
His free throw shooting is similar to Shaq's, to give you an idea. So to me, they gave up Simmons, Seth Curry, great three-point shooter, was playing guard, but they're basically replacing Seth Curry with Harden, who's an improvement, averages 10 assists, like 8 rebounds, all of that.
Yeah.
Realistically, to me, this move is all about Phillies trying to win it this year. They were a 5.9% odds to win the title. After this, they went up to 15.4%.
That much, for them,
really? It's a huge jump.
Okay,
it's a pick and pop.
Okay.
So they're going Harden and Embiid. And mainly also because Embiid, he's had a lot of injuries. He's a big center, plays very physical game. They only have a couple good years. They're taking a shot. With Harden opting in for 47.3 million, you're going to get the best version of Harden because he wants to get the 5-year 270 to 275 mil contract he can get after this year.
It's all about the money then, basically. I will say this, though, as well, especially with regards to Ben Simmons. Now, when it comes to sports in general, one of the worst media markets in the entire world for any sporting athlete has always been the New York media market. We've said so as much on this show before anyway. If you can't handle the bright lights in the big city, it's not going to work out for you. We've seen players wash out of teams in the New York media market for years. For me, the second worst media market, and not just the media market, but from a fan base, is got to be Philly. I mean, if you screw up in Philly, you are dead to most fan bases. I mean, the Eagles are notorious for killing players' careers. The Phillies themselves, the baseball franchise, there was a lot of fans chirping about the Harper signing when it happened originally, and when he had that slow start to his career in Philly. I mean, but the 76ers, I mean, those fans, I mean, they were brutal on Simmons from last year. I mean, Philly, the media market and the fan base, for me, I think that's not helped with Simmons' mental state with regards to his shooting anyway. And the fact that as you've stated, he was coddled, it's kind of like, it's a confluence of events where you've got a guy that's basically sat out for the majority of the season because he's like, I ain't stepping foot in there again or else I'm going to die. So it's a good thing for him to get out of that zone and maybe move to somewhere a little bit that's going to be a little bit more, Ben Simmons friendly, maybe help get his game back. What else you got with this? What else has been happening this week in the trades?
Well, I guess I want to kick off to anybody else because I know Philly gave up a lot to get Harden. I know his age. I know what he did in Houston. So I kind of want some of the feedback from the other guys to see their opinion if they gave up too much.
Who wants to step in, boys? Raise your hands. Go on, Ken.
So, great trade for Philly. I mean, you get rid of dead weight at that point. I mean, he's not mentally there. He's not physically there. I mean, finally we're able to do something with him. And you were able to score Harden. Like, look, don't get me wrong. You gave up a lot. All the first-round picks, but you're trying to win, as Jason alluded to. You're trying to win now. So for Philly, it makes sense. Mortgage your future for the now. I mean, that's what people do. Now for Brooklyn, they don't know what they're doing. They got a bunch of divas, and it's just not working. They tried to outdo the New York Knicks, and they did. Knicks suck. but man, like, you got Simmons. What, he hasn't played in all year. Like, he can't shoot. He can't. He's replacing Harden? Really? Like, I mean, no. It's horrible. And all it shows is that all you got to do is whine and bitch, and you're gonna get your way. Harden, I've lost what little respect I had for him, and I know he's really hurt because I don't care, but I mean, he did the same thing in Houston. Now he's done it in Brooklyn. Like, come on, man. Like, if anything, he's the next Muppet.
Oh, wow. There's a big declaration right there. He's a candidate for Muppet of the Week. Wow.
I think it was an overpay. I mean, Simmons wanted out. They wanted him out. I think they overpaid.
You really?
Think about it. Yeah. I mean, he wanted out. They wanted him out. I mean, looks like they could have got him for less, but I mean, if it works out for both of them.
There you go. Shon, you're very quiet in the corner for the first time so far today. So what have you got to say about this whole situation?
You don't want to get me started on this one. We might need a little time. I tell you what Philly's doing. I agree with Jason on one point. I'm going to go at Ken a little bit, though. If you're in the NBA, you're a whiny bitch anyways.
Ooh, we got ourselves a swear jar for the special, boys. If somebody spots Sean of Dollar quickly for the swear jar.
So no offense there, Ken, but look at it this way. KD was really good with two guys that could score. Mr. Curry and Klay Thompson. They're not going to expect Ben Simmons to shoot the three-pointers. They're going to move him inside. Kyrie is going to get vaccinated, or he's going to be playing out on the road.
No. Sean, I'm sorry, but on this particular point,
not political.
It's not a case of being political. At this particular point, I'm going to cut you off here because even I know that's absurd. Kyrie is going to do what Kyrie does best, and that is just be Kyrie. There is no way in hell that the league trying to force him to get a vaccination, the team trying to force him, state mandate trying to force him to get a vaccination, is going to get him vaccinated. He's going to do what he's done, which is always what he wants to do. Kyrie will Kyrie, and that is the end of it. There's no way you can make that statement without me laughing at you, and I know next to bugger all about the NBA. Other than the fact that Kobe was a giant, MJ built the NBA from the ground up on his back, and Kyrie Irving is a dumbass. That is it. Those are the three fundamentals of the NBA.
I truly believe, though, Paul, getting excited, your heart rate, you need the heart monitor that Gaskin says. But I truly believe, though, something will change there. And the reason why Harden went to Philly is they're in a win now.
They've
Joel Embiid is Batman.
Yeah.
Now he has his Robin.
Yeah.
That's why they made the deal.
Yeah, see, that I'll agree with. The 76ers, like Jason has said, they have mortgaged their future for a win now mentality. And you know what? I respect that kind of attitude when it comes towards trades, because that just means it shows your fan base that, yes, we're in it to win it, and we're going to do everything we can to bring the title to your team. That's fine. I respect that. But the Kyrie stuff, dude, seriously, you are so far out of left field. You should be in the bleachers. There you go. Jason, what else you got? Oh, hang on. John's got the Gaskins is going to pipe up. Here we go.
Jordan took the NBA on his back.
Dude, nobody watched the NBA until Jordan turned up in the 90s.
Hello, Magic and Bird.
Magic and Bird, yeah, but the only thing that everybody remembers about Magic and Bird, especially Bird, it was in fact he was
a whole decade of going to the finals against each other.
Yeah, nobody cares. It's the 80s.
Bad Boys.
Well, you really want to bring up the Pistons at this point.
And you're the Brit.
Yeah. Literally, Jordan brought it into the four pillars that everybody knows about the NBA, right? From a British standpoint, right? Hang on. Jordan put the NBA on the map in every country in the world, right? It wasn't until he came around in the 90s that NBA became big, right? Dennis Rodman will always be a tool. LeBron will always be a wannabe, all right? Kyrie will always do Kyrie things, and quite frankly, Kobe was a genius. Simple as that. Those are the fundamentals of the NBA from a British standpoint, and those are never, ever going to change. At this particular point, Jason, before we start getting my blood pressure meter back up, move on to the next trade before Gaskins opens his goal.
Okay. So next trade is at Indiana, which is going to be your Karis LeVert, who went to Cleveland for Ricky Rubio on the 17.8 expiring contract.
Yeah.
And a couple of first-round pick, 2022, and then 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, I saw this trade, and I was a bit like, I'm not quite sure why they've done that. I mean, they're covering somebody, but I couldn't remember who.
So the thing is Indiana was basically, they had a big three, which was LeVert, Sabonis, and Turner. So LeVert was the first move, and that went over to Cleveland, who they need offensive help. Cleveland's in the playoffs right now. They're top 3 or 4 team in the East. So they needed a wing scoring because their defense is legit. Between Allen and Mobley playing defense with Okoro and someone else, They have a legit defense. They just needed a wing scorer. So they
And
did
that's
that.
Levert.
Now, the second part of their trade is with Sacramento, where they trade Sabonis, who's a double-double machine to Sacramento. And then they got Tyrese Halliburton back.
Okay.
So that was the guard who put up like 17 assists right before the trade. Great three-point shooter, 40-some%, catch and shoot, and every other avenue of that. So they're rebuilding around him and Turner center.
Okay.
So
There's obviously an action plan going out over there, and the Levert part of that trade was the only bit that interests me from a fantasy standpoint, because I want to know where he was going to be playing. So I'm assuming you've got questions for the rest of the boys, Jace. By all means, take it away.
Well, I'm going to ask because Sacramento to me is trying to get in the play-in. They're on team him, Sabonis with Fox. Do you guys think that's enough to get them into top 10 in the West?
Gaskins, you want to start us off?
I think it should, but I mean, what is it? Top 8 for playoffs?
Top 10 now. They have a play-in.
They got the playing game, yeah. So yeah.
So it's top 10. It's going to be close. I mean, for what it's worth, a bubble team.
What they're trying to do.
Coin flip it, maybe. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't know. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe. But flip a coin.
I'm going to go with no then. It doesn't get them there.
You just go disagree.
I mean, I'll just say they're 1 game out of 10th place right now. They're currently in 12th with 21-36. 10th is 22-33. So they're a game out.
So it's a doable situation.
Right there, it's doable. I mean, if that's their goal, just to get in the playoff game,
Ken, who are their next 3 games?
I don't know. I'd have to hold on.
Well, you look it up. Well, Sean, we ask you your opinion on this particular bit. Do you think they're going to try and squeeze the playoffs or the play-in?
So Jason's forgetting another player in that deal that went to Indiana that made or break the Sacramento trade, which was Tyrese Maxey. And they're also making the Pacers, if you know anything about the situation, the money that Levert wanted. Sabonis is a perennial double-double machine. What you got in Halliburton, if you're an Indiana fan, you're sitting here scratching your head because you want to know why they made the deal. I think you're going youth here. Sacramento will not get in the playoffs. That West is torture row, and if they get in, they're going to have to find a wing and a beat, and there's no way.
Fair enough. Ken, did you get those 3 games that they've got coming up?
Their next 3 is Wizards, which they can win that. Nets depends who plays. I mean, it
depends who shows up.
Yeah, if it's home or away, if Kyrie's going to play or not.
Yeah.
The Bulls, Nuggets, back-to-back with Nuggets. I don't see them beating the Nuggets. And then
you
the
don't
Thunder,
see them taking at least one game. Is that back to literally
Thunder?
Is that literally back to back with Nuggets day after each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's 2 days. 2 days apart. 24th and 26th. But yeah.
You don't see them taking at least one game against the Nuggets?
No.
Okay. I genuinely don't know. I mean, you normally you get games that play back to back. Sometimes it goes both one way, and sometimes you do get that 50-50 split. So I'm asking a genuine question here.
Hey, look at this, Paul. And Jason's going to smile when I start rattling these teams off. If you hear Sacramento, here's the top 10. Immediately, your eyes are going to go, there's no freaking way. So you go Phoenix, you go Mr. Curry and the Warriors. Then you go to Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. You go Spider and the Jazz. You go Luka and the Mavericks. You go Porter and the Nuggets. You go the Timberwolves with Cat and the other guys.
But didn't they just beat Minnesota with the trade, their very first game?
Yeah, but welcome. One game. I get what you're saying, but I mean, you're going to have to overpass Popovich and the Spurs, and you have to overpass Dame and the Trailblazers
Fair enough.
to get
All right.
in
Look,
that.
man, the Trailblazers. Look, Dame, all respect, but he's playing with a bunch of middle schoolers.
He is elementary kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. I mean, it's and they still beat the Lakers the other day. I'm just gonna say, and yeah, Lakers
Fair
are a
enough.
mess.
Lakers have been a mess for a little while anyway. So I mean, let's face it, it's LeBron and the Lakers, and
LeBron,
nobody cares.
LeBron can be the Muppet of the week as well.
Yeah, well, he's been a previous winner of the Muppet of the Week anyway for his antics off the court, let alone on them. So there you go. Jace, what else you got?
Well, we'll stick with the Portland because they traded C.J. McCullough, Larry Nance, and Snell, and got Hart, Alexander Walker, and a first-round pick, which is protected 5 through 14, which is a weird protection. If it falls in there, they get it. If it's 1 through 4, they won't. So that's where I think Portland took a step back.
Yeah,
Because getting rid of C.J. McCollum.
Yeah,
is a
this is
step
another
back
one.
from
This is
Portland.
another one that affected my fantasy league and my team, especially because it was yet another of my players that kind of got to like, seriously, now where's he going? And it's just like, ugh. But I mean, honestly, I personally, I'm not a fan of this particular trade. I think it's a bad spot for McCollum to be heading off to. It's just like, just.
What is McCullum's contract, Jason? Is it expiring or is he around
No.
Charlotte for a while?
He's got like 60-some million, so he's around for a little while.
I think it's a building block for Jordan if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, who do you have in Charlotte that can help him? I mean,
It's
think
New Orleans.
he's in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So he has the overweight Zion.
If
That-
Zion gets healthy,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're saying Zion gets healthy. That's kind of like asking Miguel Cabrera to eat a salad in spring training. It's just not going to
That's like
happen.
asking John Gaston to go for a run right now
Yeah. Could
with the Martians.
go running with the Martian or maybe wrestle his alligator, but you get the point.
So I'm going to give you the trade that annoys me. It's just weird. Is Dallas and Washington. Porzingis
boy.
goes to Washington, and they take Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, who's got a ridiculous contract. But basically, they half Porzingis' contract in these two guys. And I know they got him because Hardaway's broken foot. Brunson, they don't know if they'll re-sign.
He's not re-signing.
And then they re-signed Dorian Finney-Smith now, basically with some of that free money.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like,
How long's
okay,
Hardaway out there? That's the thing. Because again, another one that's on
broken
my,
foot. So
Yeah,
he'll be out for a little while yet.
yeah. So this is, I mean, this for me smelled like a trade to cover Harden because Harden, you know what I mean, to cover.
Yeah, but
the injury. Hardaway,
Porzingis
yeah.
hasn't really done anything for him anyways. So
He's
I
been hurt.
yeah.
You get both those guys healthy
Porzingis
on the same squad, then
more
I
or
think
less
this
is a
a
bust
game
in the
changer,
NBA.
but, yeah.
You think?
Man, well,
I think.
again,
He can still put up numbers. He's no worse. The bust is Paul's favorite team, the Pistons. Denko Milicic at pick 2. I mean, that's a bust. You can't say that the white unicorn of Porzingis, in my opinion, is borderline. He's a scorer. He can play if he's healthy. He's not a bust.
No, but they
Okay,
say the unicorn, but you
he
don't
plays
see him
way
'cause
below
he's
his potential. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
All right,
Okay.
Good call.
All right, okay. First things first. Gaskins, for starters, have you got any kind of opinion on this particular trade yourself? Because you're very quiet in the corner. I'm worried about your
No,
safety.
because
at this
I missed that trade.
point. Oh, okay, you missed that trade. You know what? At least he's honest with it. I'll give him that. But also the fact of the matter is, I just wanted to make sure he was still alive and in living color because he hadn't moved his head for about 6 or 7 seconds. I was getting worried about him. This is a whole Jason Blink gate all over again, waiting to happen.
fair.
All right, Jace, you got one more trade for us.
All right. So the other one to me is the Boston Celtics. They got Derek White from San Antonio, gave up Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, 2022 top 4 protected first round pick, and then a 2028 pick swap.
Wow.
Why do we care?
Yeah. The 28 pick swap is just like, really, we're not going to care about that for at least another 2 years, let alone another 8. And to be honest with you, this screams of a trade that why did that happen? Because the fact that they wanted to make the trade?
No, because Boston wants to improve their team. They're trying to do a little bit of a push with Tatum and Brown. So they want him to team up with Smart and be able to switch with the guard. San Antonio, I feel, gave up more.
Fair enough. Ken, I'm assuming you've got some sort. Are you with me on
this trade? No, it's not even on my radar. Like,
yeah, see, it wasn't on mine either, to be fair. And it's kind of, for me, it's one of those, those kind of trades you get in fantasy leagues. So it's like, what was the point in doing that?
San Antonio did it
takes care of your bench. It probably clears up a little money. And in 2008, they figured they're going to be a decent team. So back, the picks are going to be later anyways. That's Boston's thinking. So like, I get it, but it doesn't. They don't really matter.
Fair enough.
Like,
all right, Sean, anything on this one, or is this one that's just kind of passed you by on your radar as well?
It's a lot of. That's all about the money. I mean, Jason's a Texas guy. They made that for the cap relief because Pop's going to retire, and they're going to need to go get some superstars, and that's what they did the deal for. Is they're trying to free up money because they're going to have to keep, what is his name, Dijon or Dion?
Yeah, the guard.
Yeah, the guard. They got to keep him happy.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Gaskins, you got something you want to say quickly?
I was just going to say, I think it's a fair trade until the 2028 pick swap. gross overpay.
A gross overpay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Right. Well, this has been an NBA trade deadline special. We'll post this one pretty quickly. As always, thank you guys for joining us. Sean, thanks again for popping along on this particular trade special. For myself, for everybody's favorite redneck, Mr. Gaskins, for Ken and for Jason and for Big Sean, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. All the links for YouTube, for Facebook and Twitter are below. We'll even throw in a little bit of TNT Dynamite love in the description for our good friend over there in the corner. And hopefully we'll see you again Monday night with the NBA, with the Super Bowl special that we'll be filming, the reaction to when the Bengals win. So, guys, thanks very much. Good night. Peace.